Okay, welcome everybody. I am so excited to have you guys on here. I'm Brandy Walker, Sapphire Ambassador, and tonight we just wanted to get together, some of us that somebody's unmuted, and just go over some things that we learned. Y'all, there's so much. It's so hard. If you weren't there, it's so hard to even put it into words how amazing it was. But we're going to try. We're going to try to give you, little tidbits. Obviously, we can't give you the whole thing because we'd literally be here all night. But we've asked each person to speak about 5 minutes or so on the topic they've been given. And I hope that you guys, kind of get just a little bit of what we learned. And, I've always heard it said since I started Plexus that leaders are born at events. And y'all, this cannot be more true. I've got 2 months because my very first convention, I went as a brand new Ready Ambassador 3 years ago. I flew out to Vegas. I did not know hardly anybody. I knew one girl from my team, and there was another person that was on my team that I'd never met before. I think maybe we had met briefly, but anyway, I roomed with her. So I went out to Vegas, not really knowing anybody, roomed with a complete stranger, and had literally the time of my life. I sat up in the nosebleed section because in Vegas, it was in a big, huge stadium, and I was, up super high. And I just, remember that feeling of going, I'm going to be on that stage next year. And, I was. So it just, if you've got goals, I just encourage you to, jump on the bandwagon now. Y'all, there's so much going on with Plexus right now. We just literally in the last month released 3 brand new products that are huge. They're all amazing products. So we're going to go over a little bit about the products, but mostly about the sessions that we were in. And first up, we have our silver. Our silver session, we have Silver Ambassador Bridget Guest, and I think she's in her car, so y'all just have to bear with her. I think she's probably got her kids with her. They've been running to ball games, but Bridget, you can just go ahead and unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I am actually kidless, but I am hiding out in my van because I just got off the softball field. So anyway, you do what you can, I guess. But so I was in the silver little conference, and so I just want to give you a few things that I learned. And the first one was she said you can't control what's around you until you can control what's inside you. Mm. And I was just like, wow, that's a really good thing just for everyday life. Just talking about, she was talking about our mindset and how you have to get your mindset right. And she just gave an example of how her dog made this big ditch in her front yard. And she said he just runs and runs and runs in that same track. And she said, that's how our negativity is sometimes. She said, I bet you guys in this room have said 10 times at least, I'm just silver. And I was like, oh, I've said that like more than that. But her point was you putting just in front of it was being a mindset of, I'm not really that good. I'm not as good as this person. And so she said, you have to break that mindset of, that negativity. And so she was just talking a lot about that and how to believe in yourself and how to just stay positive. And then she also made another statement, and she was just talking about the people that you spend your most time with. She said, whether that's your running partners that you're trying to do business with or just in your personal life. And she said, so you really have to evaluate that, like who is right around you. And she said, because if you want to run and you want to do it well, then you've got to find people around you that will run and do it well and be positive. So she said, just kind of really take a notice of who's around you and who you're spending time with, because that's who you're going to be most like. And so I just thought that was a good point. Just so, we have to do that, I think, periodically in our life because our friends change. Then we have to decide who is, who's most important to us and that kind of thing. And so she also was talking about what do you want to pass on? What's your legacy? And so she said, how can you pass something on if you don't even know what it is? And so she said, you need to spend time trying to consider what do you want to pass on, like to your kids or to your community, what's important to you. And she said, you need to be real clear on it. She said, most people are super general, but you want to get real precise. Like, what is it that you want to, pass on? And then she was talking about too that, obviously we've heard this a million times, but it's not about us. It's about what we have to offer in a gift. And she said, that negative mindset would make you think that oh my goodness, people are going to think I don't know enough about this, to help them or things like that. And she said, you're offering a gift. And so that's how you have to look at it. And just a mindset of, I have a gift, and if they take it, that's fine. And if they don't, then they just don't. That's just not for them. And we shouldn't take that personally. But my favorite thing out of the whole thing that I got, because sometimes I can chase squirrels when I'm trying to work, I'm a little ADD. And so my favorite thing that I got, which I mean, I've heard it before, I guess, but really trying to put it into practice, she called it the 3-6-9-12 challenge. It was Brooke, I think, that said that. And so basically it was 3 minutes that you pray or meditate or do whatever it is, to kind of center yourself. 6 minutes you connect and follow new friends on Facebook. 9 minutes you follow up with previous people that have been interested in the products, as many as you can. And then in the next 12 minutes, you message as many people as you can about the opportunity, whether it's the business or the products. So she said, and that comes to 30 minutes. And so she said, if you wanted to make that longer, you could. She said, but you could do that a couple times a day. She said, sometimes people have a hard time focusing for a long time. So I thought she was talking to me. So she said, you can just schedule yourself to do that a couple times a day, and then you've put in a lot of work, but you've been very focused on it and you're not scrolling through Facebook. And so that's, to me, that's a pitfall is, she was just talking about setting that timer and living by it. And so for me, that was good because I sometimes get distracted and then I'm on there a lot longer, than I wanted to be. And then the last thing was Jen Hawkins said, help as many people as you can and rank will take care of itself. And I just thought that was good because, if you're looking at it from the point of view that, I'm all in it because I want to help people feel better. I know some of you don't know my story, but 15 years ago, I didn't have a life. I get upset talking about it, but I couldn't function. I couldn't do anything. And, I also prayed for something. And at first it wasn't Plexus, but it was nutrition and it was those kind of things. And it literally changed my life. Like I couldn't work. My husband didn't have a wife, and I was 20 something years old. And so it's very near and dear to my heart. So if I can give that to somebody else, then, that's how I'm going to approach it is that if I have something that I can give them, then that's selfish of me not to. So anyway, those are a few things that I just felt were great, but I love that 3-6-9-12. I did that today. And so to me, it's just real precise and it just kind of keeps me focused. And so, that and the mindset, I think those are two huge things that I walked away with.
Wow, Bridget, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Gosh, just to hear her say, I'm just a silver ambassador. Everybody starts as a silver ambassador. Every time I'm on that stage, I'm a silver ambassador. So I don't want to ever hear you say I'm just a silver ambassador. That is just where everybody starts. So that's awesome, Bridget. Thank you. Okay, so next up, we have the Gold and Senior Gold session, and that is going to be Caroline Myers.
Hello, everyone. Hopefully you guys are having an awesome night tonight. I'm really thankful and grateful that I get an opportunity to share. This was my first convention, and I learned so much. So I have 3 takeaways that I want to share with you. One is going to be some takeaways that I have from mindset. Another one is going to be from the business. And then my final are just going to be some recapping things that stood out to me that I've actually made cards and put it on my bulletin board in front of my computer so that way there's like one-liners that I want to make sure that I'm really speaking to myself on a daily basis. So the first thing that stood out to me was when we were walking down the hallway, you may have seen it, there was this banner and it said, don't strive to be the best on your team, but strive to be the best for your team. And I didn't take a picture of it, but I mentally did because it really reminded me that, we are one Plexus and it's important for us to work together and to not to compare. And so in our session, one of the things that they spoke about was that you are who you're meant to be and that comparing yourself to others is an easy, fast way to discourage yourself. And if you're thinking, well, I've been in this a year and I'm not this rank, or this person got this, or I've been working this and I'm just, as we just heard, I'm just silver, or I'm just gold, or I'm just this, that can be really discouraging. And it's an easy way to talk yourself out of continuing on this journey. So I really appreciated that one of our Diamond Ambassadors that we heard from said, instead try to change your mindset. And think about when you're with people, try to find and surround yourself with those people who have qualities that you would like to develop and that you want to glean from, and you want to glean from their strength and things that you admire about them. Because I've heard this a few times in where I work on my 9-to-5 job, they always preach, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And so when you really surround yourself by people that you feel like have strengths that you may not have, it doesn't mean that you necessarily need to compare yourself to them. It just means maybe there's something that you can do to learn from them, and they can give you advice and they can give you different things or pick up on different qualities or challenge yourself in areas that you may not necessarily be comfortable with. And the last thing from mindset that I took away was, are you a wing or a weight to others? Are you lifting people up, or do you drag people down? Do you empower people, or do they feel drained in your presence? And that was really interesting to think, she's kind of asked, how many of you all have been around people when you leave, you just feel like, I'm so, mentally, emotionally, it can be really toxic and draining. So she was saying, I want you to evaluate yourself. When people leave your presence, do they feel drained or do they feel empowered? And she challenged us all to be a wing and not a weight in the lives of those people that we're working with, not only in our business, but in our family as well. And that's something that I put up on my little card. Are you a wing and a weight? And I think it's a nice rhetorical question that we can all kind of answer. The next thing that I took notes on was about the business. And so a quick thing that was thrown out there was, don't complicate, duplicate. Don't try to complicate things, duplicate. And so this was one of the things that I had done early on. And if you can see, it's the 64 contact list. I printed it from my back office. This was one of the things that they put up on the screen. And they challenged us to complete that 64 contact list that we can find in our back office, and focus first and foremost on the 4 people that you have influence over. And write one word why you think that they need the products or need the business. And then commit to sharing a testimonial with each person on that list of 4, and based on the reason that you think they need the products or the business. And I've definitely printed it out. I'm going to have a meeting with some people that are on my team, and I'm going to make sure that, we do that and think about that, because I can get overwhelmed with, well, who do I start with? Where do I reach out now? How many people have I reached out with? I have sticky notes galore. And, I just forgot about this great tool, and we have so many wonderful tools in our back office. So she just challenged us to go back to the basics and try not to complicate things. Another tip that was given was one person printed out their entire Facebook friends list and went out starting from the top and reached out one by one and keeping notes next to each one and highlighting who you contacted, who's a potential. And if you have, even 300, 400, 500, 1,500 Facebook friends, she said, like, a year later, she's still like not even halfway through the list. So if you think that your market's, not susceptible, or you live in a place where everybody's already taking Plexus, said challenge yourself to go through that Facebook friends list, and I bet you'll find more people than you thought you actually could contact and reach out to. And then when you contact them, she said, and I know that we were given this in our runners thread, but use product info sheets and quick product videos from Plexus tools, because sometimes people share too much information at first and it can scare potential customers away. So if you're writing like 15 paragraphs about what the products are, that they can feel overwhelmed by that. So they're quick 3.5-minute videos that sometimes go hand in hand with what the attention span of somebody that is, use the product might be. And then lastly, my final takeaways are: good leaders create leaders, not followers. Good leaders create leaders, not followers. And Julia said this. She said, I focus on I do, we do, you do. So I'll do something, I'm going to lead a Zoom call as a Diamond Ambassador, and then I pull somebody in, and then I ask them to be a part of a Zoom call because we're going to do it together. And then I'm going to ask you to lead your own Zoom call. So it's I do, we do, you do. And that's part of her mission to create great leaders, not a bunch of followers. And she felt that that was one of her tips in becoming a diamond. And then the last thing she said was people will do anything to stop feeling fear. So they give up on their dreams when circumstances push them out of their comfort zone. So anytime people feel that fight or flight, most people will shut down. And when their dreams seem too big or too scary or something gets in the way, even if they know that these products are getting paid for, or they're feeling better, sometimes they'll retreat, because if they're feeling that fear or they're outside of their comfort zone, some people will totally shut down to not keep feeling that. So she said, keep going back to your why, keep reaching out to those who will lift you up, and remember to always be a wing throughout your entire journey with Plexus.
Wow, that's so good. It really, Caroline, the I do, we do, you do, that is, that's what we're doing right now. You guys, we have, you know, I'm leading this call, but I'm not the only person on this team, and I'm not the only person that knows how to do this. So this is what we're duplicating. And then you guys are going to go do this with your own teams. That is probably the best advice that Julie could ever give. She's only one person. She's got like thousands of people on her team. So there's no way that she could personally train each of those people. But if she teaches people how to duplicate well, then this is what happens. You get thousands of people on your team, and that's what we want. So thank you so much, Caroline. Okay, next up we have the Ruby, Senior Ruby session, and we have Tina Conrad and Kay Nowacek. And who wants to go first?
I think she elected me.
Okay.
Well, this session was awesome. I mean, they all are. We had Helen McFadden, Emily Gibson, and Celeste Gwynn. And so I don't know if I'm going to sound as well worded as they are, because there's so much good information. I have a hard time, so we'll just see what comes out. But I'm zoning in on what Helen McFadden said. She talked about having a legacy mindset. You know, what is a mindset? We hear that word all the time, and it sounds like every session concentrated on that. And it's important, and through many conversations I've had with my team and my upline, I know that that's something that resonates with me. But she said, you know, mindset is a set of beliefs that guide your thoughts every day. If it is to be, it's up to me. One thing that she talked about that it feeds your mindset and it needs to be part of your IPA is personal growth. And personally, I'm not a big reader, but I'm learning to be, because it's just priceless. I mean, all of the books that were mentioned throughout the weekend and things. So she said, you know, personal development is your IPA and it has to be a priority. So that stood out to me. Personal development and leadership go hand in hand. You can't be a great leader if you're not growing yourself. Your thoughts create your reality. Remove yourself, you know, from any negativity. I know somebody else touched on that. And have an I get to attitude instead of I have to attitude. Of course, we're all here because we want to be, but I think sometimes we can get caught up in, you know, things that are going on around us or whatever. But anyway, she talked about affirmations, and that I admire. I have some friends that use affirmations. There are apps for affirmations, and, you know, like Caroline mentioned, cards on your wall, things like that. She talked about how important that is. And then she talked about Noah St. John, whom I had not heard of, but I guess he's very popular, wrote The Secret Code to Success. And she shared a slide with us, which I don't know, we may want to share it later, but it's his St. John 5 concepts. And can I read through them real quick?
Sure.
Eliminate the causes of self-sabotage and fear of success, which I remember a while back, like a year ago, I heard somebody say they kind of put the brakes on in their business because they were afraid of succeeding. And that sounded really crazy to me, but it's not. I mean, I can see that completely. And, you know, I came home and I was talking to my husband about all of this, and I guess I actually bawled through. I'm going to cry. Sorry, it's not sad.
We've all done it. It's all good.
Well, Bridget started it. But anyway, so there's a fine line between confidence and I don't even remember what I said, confidence and humility. You know what I mean? You need to lead with both. And anyway, so I'll move on with the list. I'm not going to ad lib. He said, allow yourself to be more successful. Remove stress while dramatically increasing personal productivity. Improve relationships with your team, which of course this is relationship business, and experience enhanced feelings of happiness, connection, and love. So, I mean, we all feel that because we're on this amazing team. So anyway, she said a bazillion other things, but those are the things that stood out to me. Sorry.
So good, Tina. The confidence versus humility, y'all. And I don't want to say that without talking about other teams, but I see that in the leaders on this team. You guys are so humble. I don't have anybody on this team that's like cocky, or because I think we all get it. We all realize you don't get anywhere in this business by yourself. I have people that that's like they make it to whatever jewel level or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, they did it by themselves. But I mean, reality is none of us will get anywhere in this business without other people, and being humble is
right.
a huge part of that. So thank you, Tina.
And I bawled through half the session too.
My eyes are pretty much swollen.
It was awesome.
You weren't there. It was just so good. I mean, they were talked about the Lord so much, and if you're not a believer, I mean, I don't know. It's just, to me, it was just wonderful to see a company that's not scared to talk about God and faith, and they're not worried. I don't know. That was just
right. I told somebody today, I don't think I've ever heard Jesus' name spoken that many times in front of people outside of church. But at the same time, it didn't dominate. It was just a feel and an underlying force there. I just thought it was awesome.
Thank you. Okay, Kay, what you got?
Well, I am going to follow up with Emily Gibson talked about building a legacy business, and Caroline touched a lot on the things that were also talked about in our meeting, basically of not overcomplicating and duplicating. The things that struck me the most was she shared her team page and how so many times we overcomplicate things by adding everybody to this group and this challenge group, and we're constantly creating new things. And she shared how her team embeds everything within just that team page. So that was interesting, of how when you add someone, they know exactly what step 1, step 2, step 3, and all of those challenge things are embedded right in their team page.
Oh, wow.
After that, she had us all get the notes out on our phone and write down the steps that we would do if we enrolled a new ambassador. And we took some time to do that and then share with each other what our steps were. And then she shared her 7 steps that that everyone on her team does every single time with every new ambassador. So Tina and I, since we're power partners and we're always working together, we went through that today of we're kind of revamping how we enroll people in things that were brought up in the meeting that we thought were some great ideas that we hadn't even really thought of. So we're in the process of kind of looking at that and simplifying it, but making it very clear and specific and communicating it down to everybody so that it isn't, you don't just write team page. Well, what do you mean about team page? Do you tell them about your team page, or do you add them to your team page? And whose team page are they added to? So it was being very clear and specific. My big takeaway, however, was that you need to also give your ambassadors the freedom to lead, that you don't micromanage everything on your team and with your downlines, so that they have the freedom to lead. Of course, you're always there to answer questions, but that they have that freedom to do that. Mm-hmm. The final speaker was Rosalind Payne, and she talked about building a legacy team. And she talked about her key points were about momentum and keeping things going, and to share about the opportunity often. And I think sometimes we get caught up in how great our products are and our testimonies, but we were afraid to share about the opportunity. So she talked a lot about sharing about the opportunity and what we have to offer again and again. And to follow up with people constantly, even if they haven't jumped on, they're just not ready at that time, but to keep following up. The other thing she talked about was to make sure when new ambassadors do jump on board is to right away make sure we're sharing the benefits of going silver with all of our ambassadors, even those that tell us they are only there for wholesale. They do not want this business. So many of us on this call tonight are key of that. Do not talk to me about the business, and look at us now. So we need to make sure that we are sharing the benefits of going silver right away. And that if we are constantly duplicating and sharing out and reaching out with our connections, our team is going to notice what we're still doing and duplicate that.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Thanks. Yeah, that's really good. Okay, next up we've got the Emerald session, and we've got Lisa and Randy, and I'm not sure which one of you guys want to go first. So.
Yeah, so I'm going to go first, but I'm going to pause my screen for a minute so I can look at my notes, a little bit of them.
Okay.
I have some written down and some on my phone. So first person that we had speak was Rebecca Folks, and she spoke on mindset. Can you guys all hear me?
Yes.
Brandy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, just to make sure. And so basically she said that you obviously have to have a healthy mindset to help you through the hard times. We're all going to have seasons. We're all going to have hard times. So you have to make sure that you always have that healthy, positive mindset to help you get through. So it's not just about the importance of your why, but your mindset as well. A growth mindset embraces every experience as an opportunity for personal growth. And she's, you're in charge of that. You can foster your own personal development. One of the things, the books that she recommended that I actually surprisingly don't have is by John Maxwell. It's the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. And she said that she does not even put that book down. She's like taking notes on like every line of the book. She said it's amazing. So I wanted to bring that up to you guys. She said not only is it important to have just a legacy mindset, but to make sure you have a career mindset as well. A lot of us come into this business for the fun or for the friendships or, just to help others. And we're not in that, we don't have that type of mindset naturally. So basically she was just talking about how she checks every single day. She looks at her points almost every single day and she writes them down for that day. How many ambassadors were added, what she's added, looks at PV. And she also just kind of makes sure that she does this so she can look at trends even from the past, to see if her points have gone down for a month. She can look back to the previous, May or June and see, oh, wow, this is a trend. This is what's been happening with my team year after year. She just says it's a healthy way to kind of look at things and just to make sure she's staying on top of things. Can't sit back and let your team do the work, especially once you get to where we're at as an Emerald, which I've been told that even as a gold, I remember hearing that. And so from Julia a lot, from Brandy. And so I've always been in that mindset, but just know that once you hit Emerald, it doesn't mean you get to sit back and let your team do the work. You'll start going backwards, and you won't have that legacy business that you want to have. So it's so important to keep working your own personal business as well. She talks about modeling a positive mindset. Your people are watching you. They listen to your tone in the chat threads. They're watching you on Facebook, out in even at convention. We have to be making sure that we are always remaining positive no matter what in all situations as leaders. Be willing to learn from other people. Even where I'm at right now, I still have to make sure I'm willing to learn from others. And she left a quote also with John Maxwell. It says, always try to be at the bottom of the class, and just let others pour into you. Surround yourself by leaders. If you want to get unstuck, you need to follow the people that are way ahead of you. And one thing I love that she did is in her calendar, she basically puts her goals for the month or whatever. And if she doesn't hit them, she basically rewards herself for hitting a goal. And I can't remember what her reward was, but every month she hits her goal, she goes and buys her gift. Lisa may remember what it was. I thought that was really cool.
It was Lululemon.
She said recognition and encouragement will empower your team to keep going. So we need to make sure that we're, staying on top of that and recognizing people and doing shout outs a lot. And then one-on-one interaction is a great way to help others. She also has a whiteboard with her runners on her team where she tracks everything. And she makes sure that she is touching base with them at least 3 times every month. So she has like a checkbox next to each of their name to put a check to make sure that she has reached out 3 times for the month. And I thought that was really cool. Let's see here. And then she just talked about the obstacles and how people, make excuses. You don't have enough time, not enough people in your network, need to be in a certain place, don't have the skills, limited success because you don't have the right upline. And just saying that it starts and ends with you. Don't let obstacles or others impact your way of thinking. So that's what Rebecca had said. Hold on. Okay. And then I was going to talk a little bit about Amber Miller and just kind of quickly touch base on what she was talking about. She touched base on building a legacy business as well, but she obviously had different points that she talked about. Be intentional in your actions was number 1. Number 2, creating momentum in your own personal business and in your team. And number 3, developing leaders through developing yourself. She said, we're purposeful in what we say and in what we do. We don't let things just happen. We are dreamers with action plans. So you must have an action plan. We have a plan and priorities. And we make choices to not just talk about our why, but to act on our why. Am I doing the busy work or the important work? And so one of the activities they were going to have us do, but I think we were running out of time, was to write down everything you do in a day and then list them in order of priority. So that was something I was planning to do actually this week. And I thought that was cool. A cool way of helping you, make sure you're doing the right things. So, and then another question she had asked was, what did I do to drive my business forward today? Obviously, number 1 activity is IPA, and the momentum starts with us as leaders. Another thing that she brought up was simplifying, making sure that we are really utilizing the Quick Start Success Guide and everything that Plexus is giving us in that back office. She said we just really need to simplify and just use the stuff they're giving us because it's absolutely amazing. And then she also said, obviously, the goal is to get these people, we want to simplify so people are wanting to jump on board, just like Kaya talked about, like making sure you're bringing up silver to everybody. But if we're not simplifying things and things are too complicated, they're going to run the other direction. So goal is to just get them into action. And she said one of the things that she does on her team is she invites them to an event. Every Thursday, they have an event with testimonies on Facebook. Another thing, and this is something I've been doing more recently, is leading behind the scenes. She said, delegate to your team members, let them shine as leaders. And I liked that a lot too. Facebook friends list is another thing that we always talk about, but I just want to bring it back up as well, just in case some of you guys haven't been doing it. But she said, obviously put your people in lists. You got your Plexus friends, your non-Plexus friends, and making sure that you are focused even on those Plexus friends, those people on your team and outside of the team page, and making sure that you're going to their personal page and you're commenting on things and just really building that personal relationship and not staying all business focused. That's extremely important. And then she just said at the end, like, guard your team and guard your culture because it could fall apart very, very easily. Be that thermostat of your team and don't have an ego leadership. It's not about you. It's not about them seeing us. Try to be as insignificant as possible. And I love that she said that. So that's all I was going to say with those two.
I totally agree with everything you just said. Oh my goodness. Okay, Lisa, you're up.
I think our notes on Amber Miller were exactly the same, Randy, because everything you said I had written down. This is the book that she was talking about for the first one, it's called The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, which my bookmark's in the middle of, so it looks like I need to, but she was saying she could have put it down, and I was like, I think I have that, but I don't really remember it, so now she made me want to go back and read it. So my diamond that I'm talking about is Erin Zimmerman. And she came from a highly successful corporate career. And you can tell just kind of the way she carries herself and the way that she speaks that she was a successful businesswoman. And the part that I wrote down in a manager of a group of people was when she talked about her coaching calls that she does with her team. And it's something that even if you don't start formally doing coaching calls, like with your level 1 people who are working the business, the questions that she was telling us that she asked them are good questions just for you to start conversation with someone who's maybe texting you, that they're stuck in the business or that they're feeling frustrated or deflated or just kind of need some help brainstorming. So she said that she does 3 main things in her coaching calls. She celebrates at the beginning, she does a time of discovery, and then they do an action planning at the end. So the celebration time is just chatting and connecting for a few minutes, asking what's going good, what are you excited about this week, and what's the best thing that's happened to you since we talked last. So that's kind of a fun question. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the business. And then the discovery time is where the most of the time is at, diving into the challenges that the ambassador's facing, asking good questions and helping them uncover what to do. And the good question, and I guess I ask this as a teacher a lot, is what have you tried so far? And to, get the person that's stuck to kind of put out there what they've done so far. And then you can discuss obstacles and explore opportunities, with them that maybe they hadn't thought of. And sometimes I'll say something to an ambassador that I think is, well, have you tried this? And they haven't even thought of it, where to me, maybe it was something that I do all the time and maybe had never said to them. So, people appreciate having time just to brainstorm with somebody else, just like in any time that you're solving a problem. 2 minds are better than 1. And then the action planning part, what do you want to do to change the situation? When do you see yourself doing that? And kind of giving them a timeline. It's not so that they have to report back to you, but this has helped me in my business too, is that when I say something out loud to somebody else and I put it out there, I've posted it on Facebook, I've posted it in my runner's chat or on my team page that I'm going to do this, then you're kind of accountable to everyone. So just kind of speaking it out loud to somebody else besides just in your head sometimes helps and then even like, well, I told her I was going to do that. So, now I need to do it. So I don't have, get on a call again with her in 2 weeks and say, yeah, well, I'm still stuck, but I didn't do anything that I told you I was going to do. Mm-hmm. So when do you see yourself doing that? How will that benefit you in your business? And then what's your next step? So, that was the base of, Erin Zimmerman. And I want to start doing coaching calls with my level 1 runners. So I wrote down pretty much everything she said that she does there.
That's awesome, Lisa. Okay. The next thing is the Sapphire Diamond section or Diamond session. And that's the one that I was in. And a lot of these things that you guys had in your sessions was also covered in ours. So I don't want to be a dead horse, but I'm just going to kind of run over some stuff that really stood out to me. Of course, ours, the main subject was mindset. And I can tell you, being a Sapphire ambassador, mindset is huge, y'all. In my journey, I've been doing this for 3 years, and, it's not always roses and sunshine. I mean, there are days that you want to quit. There are days you want to throw in the towel. There are days you're frustrated with people. There are days that you're like super high and everything's wonderful. And, it truly is a roller coaster. But I think that they had this quote that said, your attitude, not your aptitude, that will determine your altitude. And I just thought I got chill bumps all over again. I've had chill bumps so many times this week. It's not even funny, but it's so true, y'all. Your attitude can get you through, back office changes, or when somebody quits, or, I think I've just, you finally just have to get the mindset of, I'm doing this no matter what. If somebody quits, oh, well, I'm going to go find somebody else. Or, if I'm just never going to quit. I just made up my mind from the beginning that this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. Obviously within reason, but I think attitude is just a huge, huge, huge part of it. They said the belief that one is inherently deserving. I think maybe I didn't finish that quote, but they were talking about, can't even think of the word. I didn't write it down, but feeling like you are entitlement. That was something that we talked about a lot, is just feeling like that you deserve so much, and you deserve, it just, going back to being humble. You've got to be humble in this business, y'all. You did not make it to where you are by yourself. So that part just really stuck out to me, because they talked about it over and over and over again. So, we're not the only one that thinks that. Also, they talked about keep a positive mindset. Research shows that 75 to 85% of mental, physical, and behavior illness comes from one's thoughts. Oh my goodness, 75 to 85% comes from what you think about. So if you train yourself to think about negative things, then you could actually make yourself physically, and mentally ill. And I just want to read some of these. They put a slide up. I wish I could share it on my screen right now, but there were 2 different slides, and these were words that were actually taken from the Jewel page, from a post that I think either Alec or Tara, one of them made a post on the Jewel page. And these are words that were used from actual Jewels in their comments to our president. These negative words: defeat, frustrated, lost rank, desperate, throw up, mess, complain, deflated, difficult, hard, flounder, selfish, struggle, begging, panic, kicked in the gut, and sick to my stomach. Those are comments that actual Jewels made to the president of our company. Can you imagine? I can't even imagine using any of those words, but I'm not saying I've never used those words, but to use it in that context. But these were also some of the positive words that were used on some of those same posts from different ambassadors: excited, thrilled, generous, heart, integrity, grateful, encouraging, awesome, proud, believe, thankful, blessing, appreciate, honor, faith, amazing, and care. So you can see just how words, maybe obviously this was the same post, so these are the same people dealing with pretty much the same issues, but it's all about how, just how you handle those issues. Okay, let's see. They talked about, your people on your team having hope. They're only going to have hope if you give it to them. If you're talking negatively to your team and speaking negative thoughts over your team, guess what? Your team's going to be negative too, and your team can just fall apart just like that, y'all. All it takes is one time getting on a thread and just venting, or venting to a downline, or, they might be your best friend, y'all, but I've seen it happen. You have a bad day and you go vent to your downline. Guess what? They're going to vent to their downline. They're going to vent to their downline. Next thing you know, everybody wants to quit. And I have seen it happen. So don't ever do that. Another thing they talked about that y'all have already covered is keep it simple. Do not overcomplicate. We've got a very duplicatable system on this team, and I think it works well. But sometimes we're always wanting to come up with new challenges and new this and new that and new checklists and that's great as long as you're keeping it simple and you're able to duplicate it. Make sure you're investing in your people, your time, just like they were talking about, making time to talk to all of your level ones. You must give to your people and take your name off of it. That is something that I underlined, because I think that's huge, y'all. We can't take credit for everything. You've got to give your people credit where credit's due. I think it's super, super important to give shout outs and really let your people shine. They work hard and they deserve it. So just take your name out of it. That's what good leaders do. They're going to buy into you before they buy into your leadership. So pretty much they're going to buy into, how you treat them and how they feel when they're around you. I can't remember which one of you were talking about. I think it's Caroline. Does somebody walk away from you feeling like their cup is full, or do they feel stressed out and like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. I'm going to disappoint her. I'm going to, they should walk away from you feeling good and like they can do this and empowered. Let's see. Another good quote was, commitment fades when convenience fades. I think that's huge too. A lot about this business is not always convenient. I mean, it's the rewards are amazing, but it is work, y'all. And I think you just have to make up your mind that, it is not always going to be convenient, but that's where having a plan comes into play and making sure that you follow through with that plan. Your plan may look a little different than somebody else's. Of course, we have, a system, your 531, but that may look a little different for everybody, but just make sure that you're committing to it and you just get it done. I always hear Julia talk about, when she was starting out, she would not go to bed until it was the 31st of the month and she had not got her third ambassador. She was not going to sleep until she got the third ambassador. Well, that's commitment. That's why she's a diamond. And of course, they talked about legacy leaders make people feel bigger than they actually are. I thought that was huge. I mean, I remember when I first started and, had signed some people, I think I went silver. And I just remember Julia making that, she made this huge shout out, not just on her page, but like on her uplines pages too, about me going silver. And I was like, I didn't really think that was that big of a deal. But I mean, she made this huge to do about it. It made me feel so important. I was like, wow, I actually did something really cool. So I think just recognizing your people and what they bring to the table. Let's see. Okay, this I thought was important. I'm going to pull it on my phone. Is what to look for when you're attracting business builders. Talk about the business a lot. I hear all the time that people, when they first start out, they're scared to talk about the business. No, I get it. I do. But people won't know that you are, that they can join this business unless you tell them, unless you talk about it. Case in point, the day I joined, I made my very first post. This girl that was doing another health and wellness network marketing business that I follow and I'm good friends with, she messaged me and she's like, I can't believe you joined Plexus. You could have joined my team. And I'm like, well, I knew you sold products, but you never once reached out to me, and I didn't even know that I could join your team. Because y'all, guess what? I would have joined her. I was looking for something like this. So if you don't tell people, and she's kicking herself now, but she didn't tell me, and I so would have joined her team. I mean, I just love her to death, and I would have joined her team. But, look for people who have unshakable belief. Share your belief with them. Make sure that you're always positive about this, and you're, be just as passionate as you are with us. Make sure you're that passionate with those people. Find people who, or get people to have quick success. Get them 3 ambassadors and 1 or 2 customers right off the bat. Show them how to do that so that they can feel, they start making money right away, and they feel, just like I was talking about, I made silver and Julia made such a big deal about it. That was quick success. And I felt like, oh my gosh, I can really do this. Make sure you encourage and connect them with other people. So get them, in chat threads, get them accountability partners, and introduce them to other ambassadors, make them feel like a part of the team. Goal plan with them, and get a health goal plan also. So make sure that, if somebody joins right away as an ambassador and they also want to do the business, don't forget that they're a brand new ambassador with the products too. So make sure that you're still following up with them. Make sure they're not having, die-off symptoms, or they're having some kind of issue that you're only talking to them about the business. You still got to talk to them about the products. And, wheel it into place. I think it was Tina that was talking about affirmations. It's so important to talk about affirmation, or have affirmations daily, and, speak positive things over your team, and you will have a successful team, and you will have successful ambassadors. And affirmations are going to be different for everybody, but I just thought that was really good. Let me see real quick. Okay, the last thing is, I mean, there's a whole bunch, so obviously I can't cover it all, but provide encouragement and security for your team. Okay, y'all, this is huge. If I only show up to work, and when I mean show up to work, like posting on my team page, on the threads, if I only did that like once or twice a week, would y'all feel like this business was going anywhere and it was like something you could really rely on to replace your income? Or, I mean, Kay just quit her teaching job. Would you feel like that this could be something that you could really quit your job and like follow me on if I was just like dabbling in it at this point? If I just took a couple weeks off here and there. I'm not saying you can never take time off, but y'all, consistency, even whenever you get to be Jewel level, if you're going to go on vacation, you need to plan ahead. Like, it's important that people know that you're not just dabbling in this, that this is your career, and they need to feel secure. I mean, it's just like if you went to any other job. If your principal at your school only showed up whenever there was like a big lunch or something going on, you'd be like, I don't know if my job is going to be secure. I mean, it's just really, really important. So anyway, that's all I have on. Actually, I have a whole bunch, but we need to move on. So, okay, the next thing we have is Randy's going to talk about the Leaders Retreat contest.
That's actually me, but
Oh, okay. Sorry.
that's okay. So I get the fun one. I mean, it's all fun, but this one's really fun. So I'm actually have been rereading the email that was sent out on June 9th. I'm sure everybody on this call knows that you have the opportunity to earn a cruise that stops in Key West in the Bahamas in October. And I thought that the marketing, calling it the Legacy SEA cruise, was genius. And I just, if you have anybody on your team and ambassadors underneath you, and you're trying to earn this cruise and so are they, it's very important that you understand all of the details about how to earn points so that you can explain it to them, and you can help them develop a plan for it. So that's a whole nother call of, how to plan your months and set your goals. So I just wanted to go over really quick the ways. Well, first of all, it's 900 credits to earn Leaders Retreat. The other stuff, the $150 cash, the cabin upgrade, the private reception, the shopping spree, that's all icing on the cake. It's all fine and wonderful and great, but you got to get yourself on that cruise. I mean, it's going to be amazing. Whether you win anything above that, the cruise is going to be amazing. And just to be there, it's going to be so fun. So it's basically the same way that you earned convention credits. So you're earning 10 credits for a level 1 new ambassador. They have to buy a welcome pack. That's how they track the new ambassadors, by the welcome pack purchases. And then a level 2 is 10 credits, and 3 and 4 are 5 credits each. And then for new prefer or retailed customers, they have to have at least 75 PV. So they have to buy more than just a bag of Slim. It's got to be Slim and something else, hopefully Slim and Lean. Perfect. And that goes right with the Summer Slim Down Challenge that we're starting in a couple weeks. You get a new customer, they buy a bag of each, and you've got your points for them, and it's adding to your PV. So you get 10 points for a new personally sponsored level 1, and then 7 points for a level 2, 5 points for a 3, and 3 points for a level 4. And then that goes right along with the PV. I was just talking to someone on my team today and said, you have to set your PV goal for 1750. Whether you get there or not, that has to be your goal. I earned Leaders Retreat my very first year that I joined Plexus, so I've gotten to go twice. I joined in March of 2 years ago whatever year that was, 2016. And I earned Leaders Retreat that summer. And a lot of it was based on, I don't even think I was gold yet. And I earned Leaders Retreat. I might have been gold. I think I went gold at the end of the summer. So I was in the process of building a gold team and earned Leaders Retreat. So it's possible for anyone. So nobody's allowed to say I'm just silver, so I can't earn Leaders Retreat. Yes, you can. I did it, so I'm proof that you can.
Mm-hmm.
So that 1750 PV gets you 225 credits a month. So that's like 675 credits right there just in your PV. So, you know, even if you have to personally buy a couple things extra, stock up for September. You know, you could stock up in June, July, and August and not buy anything for yourself in September. But you definitely want to get that higher PV, and preferred customers are a great way to do that. And then getting a development bonus for silvers on your team. If you help one of your level ones go silver, you get 10 or 20 points, 20 credits. And then a level 2, 15 credits, and a level 3, 10 credits. So that's great. And then rank ups. How awesome would that be to rank up during the Leaders Retreat contest and get some big points for that? So if you go silver, that's 50 credits. That's huge. If you go gold, 75 credits, senior gold, 100 credits. And I bet we're going to have a lot of people on this team going gold and senior gold this summer. So that's awesome. Ruby, 125 credits, and then senior ruby and emerald are 150 credits. So at the bottom of that email, there's a flyer that you can open up. I've already taken pictures of the points and saved those on my phone so I can refer to them really easy. There's the frequently asked questions that you can read and the official rules. So I really just suggest that you read through those yourself and familiarize yourself with all of the rules and the frequently asked questions so that you can answer questions for your team, you know, when they have questions for you. So that is all I have for Leaders Retreat.
Okay. Yeah, I've posted those on my team page as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also some little trackers that they're really cool that somebody came up with. Some smart math guru, it's not me, but it really helps it break it down how many points you would need or how many ambassadors you would need to add. It's just really cool. So you guys go, I just posted it probably about maybe 5 or 6 o'clock this evening. So it's on my team page fresh. So I know that we've had other silver ambassadors on this team who have earned Leaders Retreat. Lori Reed is one of them. She earned it last year. Chris Parfait earned it. I'm trying to think if you're on this team, I mean on this call right now, and you were silver and earned Leaders Retreat, can you like raise your hand or just say something? Maybe not, they're not on here, but anyway, I know we've had others that have earned it, so it's definitely not impossible. Okay, so the next thing we have is the new rules for the Consistency Club, which is super, super exciting, and Jenny Teal is going to talk about that.
I'm doing the Consistency Club, or I'm doing the 369, I thought.
Yeah, the 369.
Okay, good. All right, so you guys probably saw your emails. If this contest started June 9th and runs through Saturday, June 30th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's pretty easy, and this will just, of course, build your business, build your PV, and also help you with points for Leaders Retreat. If you enroll any 3 new personally sponsored ambassadors with the purchase of a welcome pack, or a new customer, retail or preferred, with initial order of 75 PV or more, as soon as you enroll any 3 of those, you will get this really cute little beach towel. And then if you enroll any 6 of the same combinations, you will get the cool pineapple floaty that you can use in Caden Watchek's new pool if you're in Michigan. Or enroll any of the 9 And you will also receive this really nice looking cooler. So you get potential to win all 3 of these prizes. So I hope everybody really pushes for that, because again, it will just help with Leaders Retreat contest. But one thing I did notice today, where there are some rules and some stipulations for that. They're saying basically no exceptions will be made for previous enrollments outside of the incentive date. So don't say, oh, somebody signed up June 8th. Can we count them? They're going to tell you no. Any upgrades from existing retail customer or preferred customers will not count towards this incentive. So unfortunately, if you have an existing one and you want to upgrade them to an ambassador, it's not going to go towards the incentive. Any returns, refunds, declined payments will count against the ambassador qualifying for this incentive. So just make sure that everybody, there's no credit card declines, get on top of that before June 30th. Otherwise, hopefully your person's not going to return anything prior to June 30th. And the prizes can be stacked. So you could potentially earn all 3 of the prizes. So that's about it. It's pretty easy. I can't wait to see what everybody wins.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So that one does end June 30th, correct?
Yeah, June 30th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, y'all, there's still plenty of time because we have 3 new products. I mean, that we have so much to reach out to people about right now. It's crazy. Okay, the next thing we have is Casey Barksdale, brand new Ruby Ambassador. Where's she at? I don't see. Oh, there you are. She's going to talk to us about a speaker, Christy White, who was phenomenal.
Yes, I loved her, and I am a huge John Maxwell fan, and I listened to the Minute with Maxwell's, and I have quickly I downloaded his book on Audible to have on the plane, but I'm also a new Christy fan, and outside of the things that she said at the convention that I'll share in just a moment that really were the big takeaways is she has a coaching Facebook page. If you'll just go in and search her business boutique and her name, Christy White, you can request to join her coaching page, and it will ask you, how did you hear about this page? I put the Plexus convention and I was added to the page. And so she's posting things in there that are valuable. I also just Googled her and her podcast, and she has a subscription for podcasts. And it was pretty neat because some of the ones that were her most recent that I was very eager to listen to were very applicable to what we're trying to do. One is 5 ways to grow your business this summer, finding success in business and motherhood, using your gifts to make a difference, how to get your husband on board with your business. I mean, and they're all about an hour long, but I was really impressed that it all goes along with what we need. But the other thing is she posted, if you send a text in the to box, like you're texting someone and you text 44222, and in your text message you type BB for business boutique, BB chapters, you'll get a text message back asking for an email. And when you put your email address in, it will send you the first 6 chapters of the book. And I thought she was phenomenal as she was speaking. And one of the things that really, I guess, really pricked my heart when she was talking was she said, fear is not from God. And so when I downloaded those 6 chapters, I was reading through, I skipped to chapter 2, and I was reading the chapter on fear, and I wanted to read this. It says, fear wants you to live a small life, but God never created us or called us to live a small life. God wants us to have a life and have it abundantly. In fact, the Bible says to fear not 365 times, one for every day of the year. And I just thought that was great. I thought it was just like the perfect thing that summarized a lot of what we were hearing. And it was just the real big bow on everything that we had learned. So I really highly recommend taking advantage of, I mean, that's 6 chapters. I think the book has like either 12 or 13. So you have about half the book to get started on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you so much, Casey. She works for Dave Ramsey. So if you ever follow Dave Ramsey, ever done any of his workshops or anything, I don't know, I just can't say enough about it. She just gave me chill bumps over and over. We actually heard her in Hawaii. It's the first time I heard her speak. And this one was actually even better, believe it or not. What she spoke on at convention was even better than Hawaii. So y'all really should look her up. She was really awesome.
You know, Brandy, Dave Ramsey has a quote where when he's talking to people about trying to get out of debt, he said one of the things that he says is to find you a good MLM and really work the business. So, you know, I just think the combination of all of it just really works well.
Yeah, we actually did his Extreme Money Makeover right before we finished it, and then I filmed Plexus. We literally finished it when we were in Italy, made the last payment, and then like maybe a month or two later, I heard about Plexus. So it just like fell in line. It's just, I love him. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is the Summer Slam Down Challenge that starts. I just posted about that today, so hopefully you guys, I think a ton of you have already joined it. If you have not joined it, there's a link on my team page and in all the threads. Just go at request to join, and it's going to ask you a couple of questions. I think one of them is if you have purchased Slim and if you've purchased Lean. That's what it's going to ask all of your ambassadors. Okay, and this challenge is obviously for our new Hunger Control Slim and for our new products, our new protein powder, our vegetarian protein powder Lean. And okay, there's going to be several different options of what somebody needs. Where did I put it? Of what somebody needs to order, depending on what they already are. So if they're already and this is all on my team page, so you don't have to memorize it now, but it's all on my team page. For a new or current retail or preferred customer, they must purchase 1 bag of Slim Hunger Control and 1 to 2 bags of Lean. Okay. For new ambassadors, they must order a welcome pack of their choice. We recommend the Hunger Control triplex plus 1 bag of Lean. And for current ambassadors, they need to order a minimum of 100 PV that includes any combo of products, including Slim and Hunger Control Lean. So if you buy 1 bag of Slim and 1 bag of Hunger Control Lean, I think it comes up to like, don't quote me, but it's like 98, 99 PV or something like it. So they have to get 1 more product. And y'all, please do not add them to this group until they purchase. Like that's the whole point of it, is to get them to purchase. And they can't be in this group and get all the recipes and all the just all the information that we're going to give them. It's not just free. You know, they have to do this. And so do, I mean, even ambassadors, they have to purchase this to be involved in this group. And make sure you post about it. Y'all don't just post graphics. Like post interesting pictures of yourself, like maybe holding your Lean or maybe your kids holding your Lean or something, but just try not to use graphics. I'm not saying don't ever use them, but post about it often and try to make it very interesting. Y'all, people just scroll by graphics. I've seen people doing it and they're making their own graphics. And I mean, I get it. They're fun to make, but they just don't grab people's attention anymore. People just scroll by that stuff. So try to come up with something fun. If you come up with a fun idea, post it on my team page too. I see somebody asking questions here. Okay. Let's see. So anyway, it starts on June 25th, and I'm thinking that they probably need to have their products ordered by the 20th or 21st to make sure that they get them. Hopefully they're going to order them before that, but we need to give them at least 3 to 4 days to get their products. Sometimes we get them in 2 days. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. So, anyway, I'm just super excited about this. Y'all have been testing this product, and I absolutely love it. And I just wanted to give y'all a little tip about lean. Actually, let me pull it up. Okay, like I said, I've been testing it, and I know a lot of you already tested it at convention, and hopefully you already got a bag of it. But at home, I don't mix it just with water. I can drink it with just water, which is surprising because there's never been a protein powder ever in my lifetime that I could drink with just water, but I can this one. But it tastes a lot better to mix it with ice. I personally mix it with ice, almond milk, powdered peanut butter. Sometimes I put a little bit of spinach in it and just blend it in my Vitamix. And to me, it's like a Wendy's Frosty. My daughter tells me I'm crazy that I haven't had ice cream in a long time. But I love it. I think it tastes really, really good. It's not gritty. I don't know. I was just really surprised, and it does not hurt my stomach. I've never had a protein powder, even a vegan one, that did not hurt my stomach. So this is huge for me. Now, it does have a lot of fiber in it, so I will tell you to start off with, with 1 scoop, because 1 scoop is a snack, 2 scoops is a meal. And, the new Hunger Control has a lot of fiber as well, so if you're sensitive to that, and I thought I was, but it actually helps my stomach. It doesn't bother me at all. So just start slow. I wouldn't start out with, a whole stick of Slim and 2 scoops of Hunger Control, because you might be in trouble a little bit. But I think you'll be fine if you just work your way up to it. And you might want to have your ambassadors maybe start with a half a stick of Slim and 1 scoop of lean. So anyway, that's my tip on that. I'm just going to kind of go over real quick just some facts about the Plexus Lean. It's 100% vegetarian meal replacement that delivers nutrition, weight loss benefits, and energy. And I can definitely tell you that it gives me energy. I'm not sure if it's the vitamins or what in it, but I just feel good after sometimes I take it when I get home right from the gym, or I just take it maybe in the afternoon, or actually last night I even had it for dinner and I wasn't hungry at all. So, and that's shocking for me because I usually am not one that can skip dinner. Okay, it's got 20 grams of protein, of smooth pea and rice protein. It has 24 highly bioavailable vitamins and minerals, 7 grams of dietary and prebiotic fiber, all in a shake that's non-GMO, and it's free from common allergens like soy, gluten, and dairy. Y'all, that's huge for this market. We've got so many crunchy people, or so many people that have food allergies that have never been able to touch P96. I'm one of them. I have never ever been able to take that product. So this is going to open up a whole new market. So if you've got those people that have been looking for something like this, you need to reach out to them. Let's see. Okay, also the last thing about lean is that for every serving, so in 1 bag, there's 14 servings. Is that correct? Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I think there's 14 servings. Anyway, for every serving in the bag, Plexus is going to donate a meal to a needy family. And so that would be 14 meals just from 1 bag. So that's huge. They donated over $100,000 to an organization called Feeding America at convention. And I don't know about you, but if you were there, you know what I'm talking about. There probably wasn't a dry eye in the place. It was really amazing to see it. So basically, I feel like they're making this product and not really making anything off of it. They're donating so much of the proceeds just from this one product. So anyway, I thought that was awesome. Okay, so I think that's it. Does anybody have any questions over what we went over, or anything to add?
Wait, Kelly didn't talk about John Maxwell yet.
Yes, we do have one, and actually, this is probably my favorite. My favorite part of the whole convention was John Maxwell. So, Kelly, sorry, I didn't mean to skip over you. I don't know why I didn't have it written down.
Okay. Hello. I am currently under the weather. I hope that you can hear me. I have finally succumbed to the germs that I thought I was not going to anymore. But in any case, I'm going to be really quick because most of what we heard is kind of inbred in our leadership. I will say this, if you are not familiar with John Maxwell, if you haven't read any of his books, you should read them because he is phenomenal. And I had the pleasure of seeing him first at Leaders Retreat last year, and he's awesome. So just a couple things really quickly. He talks about, kind of knowing, success is identifying your purpose and understanding that it takes work and growth, and, striving to kind of maximize your potential and offer value to others. And so, this is kind of what we're doing, and, and you've heard this kind of repeated over and over again, but it's that growth mindset. He talks about attitude, which we know, and we've heard this theme too. It's crucial and it's important. And if you have one person on your team, you are a leader in your attitude, your team is going to be a mini version of you. And so if you are whining, he says whining and moaning. If you're whining and you're moaning, what you're going to pass along to them is, they're going to want to leave. What value are you offering? Why are they going to want to stick around? And so, this takes control over your attitude, and, controlling your emotions, and, maybe retraining yourself, what your thoughts are until, bite your tongue until you're able to retrain yourself to, kind of eradicate that negative, kind of action and talk. You can't lead if you're whining and moaning. And, Brandy talked about, complaining to your downlines, and, it's everything. You won't have a team if you're supposed to be lifting them up and breathing belief into them versus whining and moaning. And so, really quickly, I think the biggest thing that, I wanted to share with you from John Maxwell is his cycle of success. And so this is something that, we apply to and can apply to every, aspect of our life. And so, you're just going out into the world. And in this case, we have endeavored to share health and happiness with our friends through Plexus. And so he talks about testing, and then failing, and then learning and improving, and then trying again. And so this is a cycle that you are constantly going to be going through. And so often we hear people say, well, I don't want to do it until I know. I don't want to do it until I understand it, or I don't want to do it until I'm good at it. And you're not going to be good at it until you go through this cycle of success. So if you think about anything in your life, the first time you did it, you weren't good at it. The first time, I did a live video, it was terrible. The first time I did, first time you rode your bike, you fell. And so when we do something and we don't do it perfectly, we don't do it well, and then we decide not to do it again, that's a problem. So instead, you try, every day we're testing. We go out and we try. And then from those efforts, instead of saying, okay, that didn't work, I'm not going to do it again, we say, okay, how can I do it better next time? And so that's that learning opportunity, right? And so we identify, what we can do to make it better, and then we try again. And we just keep doing that over and over and over again until, I guess there is no until, because we never stop, right? That was his final kind of point there, is that we're never done. We've never arrived. There's always tomorrow. Whatever I accomplish today is re-entry tomorrow, right? That's the ground level tomorrow. And so I just thought that it was just kind of brilliant to kind of look at it as this cycle. And that's about it for me. But it's worth your time if you can get your hands on John Maxwell book, for sure.
Oh my goodness. Every book I read of his, I don't know. And if you ever just get a chance to just watch his videos, or it's just something about his voice. I don't know what it is. It's just soothing. And I don't know. I can only imagine if I was actually working with him or was one of his family members, because he seems like he just would feel like the most important person in the whole world if you're standing there talking to him. He's just a really cool man. Anyway, I think that's all we have. Do you have any questions?
Andy, you know why we can't advertise the new protein powder as vegan?
Okay, I did see that. Yes, it's the vitamin D in it is made from, I'm trying to remember, lamb's wool or something. I'll have to find that for you. But it's something very, 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 very tiny.
Okay.
That it's not even taken from the actual animal. It's just taken from the wool or something. Which I didn't even know you could make vitamin D from that. But y'all don't quote me on that because I don't want people to say, "Oh, Brandy said it was," you know. Because I just
No, that's right. That is right.
Oh, good. Okay. But yeah, it's something very, very tiny. So I mean, I personally would still consider it vegan, but I'm not vegan. So, you know, anyway, but we can't advertise it because of that, but it is vegetarian. So, anybody else? Nope. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for getting on. I know it went just a little bit long tonight, but y'all, there was so much good stuff. And if you did not go away pumped up and just so excited about what Plexus has to offer, then I don't even know what to tell you, because I came back just completely exhausted, but I'm so excited and I'm just ready to work and get you guys all to be in a jewel and to get you guys on that ship, because I know every single person that's on this call can win it. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, y'all personally reach out to me. I'll be glad to help you. Or you reach out to your upline, whoever you feel comfortable talking to, and let's, earn leaders retreat. So anyway, hope you guys have a good night.